Okay, so let's take a look at how you can set up Oracle's autonomous JSON database. So first thing, we will go to Oracle database and click on autonomous JSON database. Right. So I already have ATP and data warehouse. So this will be the third database within my list. Currently, I don't have any JSON database, so this will be empty. But if I want to set that up, I will create autonomous database. Now let's name this JSON dev. Right, sorry, let me rename this. Right, and then come back here again, JSON dev. Right, now here I will select the JSON by default shared infrastructure. I have 19C version for my local. Then I have CPU count 1, storage 1. It's not a free service anymore because I already have two databases. So next would be to using the password here. Right, so I will now next thing we will be adding the password here. Next, can pick the secure access from everywhere and then move on to creating the autonomous database. Do note the name, which is your JSON. So I'm trying to differentiate between the database by using their intended name along with my own. Right, so it will take some time, then it will start the provisioning. Right, if you have some credits within your free tier, then it will be used as well, because there are only two autonomous database that will be used. Considering I already use ATP and autonomous data warehouse, the JSON one would be the third one, and that will become the paid tier. Right, now here you can see my instance name is JSON dev. Each instance of your autonomous database will also get one Apex instance attached to it, so you don't have to create a different for the same. Right, notice that we have database actions and also our typical option of connecting to this instance through database connection tab, so that's also supported. Now it's in provisioning mode, so we won't be seeing a lot of options, so let it create. Meanwhile, I can show you my other databases which are always free. This one will be paid and I'll be charged based on per hour instance. Right, so for now you have like a bit of time before this becomes available. Alright, usually it takes a minute or two and it will appear in work request. Right, so keep an eye on that. You can see status shows it is successful. Right, and we can see at the top it is available. Also our database action is showing it available as well. And here database connection, where I can create the instance wallet and regional wallet in case if I have to use multiple options. So in this particular case I can use instance wallet. Right, I can download it and store that zip file, and again use applications that allow me to access this particular database. Right, the next thing would be closing this database connection. Right, now let me go to actions page. So database actions would require you to use the same password that we used within our setup page. So I will use admin, then I will use the password and sign in. Right, now it will give you access to Oracle database actions, out of which we want to access this SQL editor as well as JSON editor option. Right, so let's say if I go to the JSON editor option, what we can do here. Right here it shows that I can create a new collection. Then I will use example collection, add new documents, right? Then it can be edited with this drawer option, right? And then documents will appear here once we query them, right? Then finally we can also view individual document when we edit it through editor, right? And then you have filter option as well, QBE filter, right? And executed result will appear, right? Then visual JSON data guide, and finally can close the door, right? Now here we will be given the option for creating our JSON data. So click on create connection, and here you can give your collection a name, add some content within your sample JSON document, and click create. You can also make this collection MongoDB compatible, as this JSON database has that option to be able to access from your MongoDB compass, right? So if we go to the okay, now here you can take a look at option to configure this for MongoDB. So here you can see you have enabled Oracle Apex. You can disable this, can enable or disable database actions. Then you have machine learning interface as well, then data transforms. So you can use your graphical data transforms here for data flow and workflow, right? There is already a service. Currently the MongoDB one is disabled. Okay, so use access control list or private endpoint as your network access type to be able to enable this, right? So that needs to be done in order for your MongoDB compass to have the URL that you can then use for connection within your MongoDB compass, right? But for that you will have to edit the access control list, so do pay attention to that. Either you as an admin or someone else who is admin needs to edit that. Okay, now we take a look at where exactly we can use MongoDB compass for making that connection to our JSON database. So currently I don't have the MongoDB API URL available. However, I can show you my MongoDB compass. So MongoDB compass, here I will open that and I will show you the option to create new connection. Currently you can see I have this option for new connection. Here you have all the options for, let's say, if you happen to choose authentication system where you have username and password, enter admin and password here along with your database name if there is any. This is optional. Then keep the authentication mechanism to minimum, right? So you don't have to manually have to check for this gram and SHA, right? So stick with the defaults. If there are any other options that you have selected like SSL or SSH, so SSH with identity file, so that's also possible. You will have to select that file here and it will be accessible. So if we think of this particular option, you can go to your Oracle database, then JSON database here. Then let me show you what to do with that file. Select the database, then you have database connection option, right? And then you have like this particular area where you can see instant wallet option. Click on this instant wallet. That should download the zip file along with the string for mutual TLS, right? Now we can close this, come back to MongoDB compass. We can come back to SSH hostname, can give your IP or the available string for connection, So apart from that, you can also give port, then username, and then this identity file. So this is one thing that you can do. Another is your in-use encryption. So I'm not sure if KMS is supported, or there is even not a method given, right? So we have like authentication option that I explained you, then this SSH option with identity file. If you are choosing with password, then that is one possibility, but with the identity file is what we know from Oracle, right? So these two options you have for connecting to MongoDB Compass, right? So if you happen to connect with that, you can take a look at that option, right? So I hope you get the idea how to create the JSON database in Oracle Cloud and then use means to access it in database actions, as well as means to connect it with MongoDB Compass.